Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon Review, where tonight it is Newcastle United's trip to Everton's match preview with myself and Alex. And Alex, we've heard from Eddie Howe. The ASM debate still rages on. We had a lot of feedback on our show last night, but it seems to be going on everywhere else, to be honest. So everybody else and his dog seems to have an opinion on what's going on. But we'll come on to that. But Eddie Howe, again, very, very astute in his press conference, giving nothing away as usual. But, interesting what he had to say.
Yeah, he's very. It's nice to have a manager like that. He's calm and collected. He thinks before he speaks. He takes his time. He seems very, very honest. And it's a delight to listen to the press conferences. I used to not want to listen to press conferences before, but I'm happy to listen to the full press conference every week. So for the pre and post match. Interesting things. He dealt with a lot of questions very, very well. I don't know if he'd been advised on how to do that or whether that was, he seems more than articulate enough to do that himself. He's a very clever guy. So handled himself very well.
Yeah. Now he was asked various questions, of course. Politics came up, but we staying clear with that because I can't be bothered now to give them any airtime. It's like they don't seem to realize, Eddie is not going to give them any answer. It doesn't matter how many times you press him for an answer on the politics side of it. He's not going to give an answer. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Well, as he said in his press conference, it's not really his business. It's above and beyond football. He's employed to do the job, and he tries to understand what he needs to understand to a degree, but we can't research things to the ends of the earth before we take any job, buy any product, travel. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
So
when you look at what he had to say on the, I was very interested to hear what he had to say about Sean Longstaff because apparently contract negotiations are going on. Now you did somebody mentioned on the show a few weeks ago about the possibility of Sean Longstaff getting a new contract because he's homegrown and we need some homegrown players within the squad, obviously. So he is somebody clearly that Eddie Howe wants to keep around.
Yeah, well, there's going to be a clear out of our midfield anyway. It looks like Hendrick's definitely gone. There's a lot of heavy rumours suggesting Hayden is also gone. Which is a shame. The injury is a shame because, not really sure what we could have got out of him with the training. So that's, if those are true, then that's 2 out the door. Matty's out on loan. Anderson's still out on loan. We do need some young lads. We can't bring in 4, 5, 6, 7 players from Europe. We need some homegrown players. We have to fill quotas. We've got the new loan structure coming into place very soon. Especially
just for people who don't know that, who don't know what that is. Can you just explain to them what that new loan structure is?
Yeah, so it's going to stop players having a loan farm or a loan army, as it's typically considered at Chelsea. I think who is this? Atalanta have like 65 odd players, or was it 80 out on loan at the moment?
Yeah,
it's incredible. So it's to stop that, basically. It's to stop the top teams hoarding all of the young talent in Europe and just loaning them out until they maybe become good and then use them. Because it's not fair. It's ridiculous. It's an abuse of wealth and power. So they're restructuring it so that in the Premier League it'll be you have to be under 23 and homegrown. You have to fit both of those criteria, under 23 and homegrown, and then when you're out on loan, you don't count towards the quota of out on loan players. And I think the quota, I can't remember exactly what the starting number is going to be, 7 or 8. I could be wrong. And it's going to gradually come down as to how many loans you're allowed per season. And eventually it'll just be mostly homegrown plus under 23s who go out. And it's
which I think is fair enough. I think it needed revamped, to be honest, because you look at Chelsea and how many players there. Atalanta was a joke. It is a joke.
Chelsea have got a lot of 27, 28-year-olds that were part of their up and coming that just they just can't get rid of.
Mm.
They just keep going out on
Well,
loan. Kennedy is a prime example.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with them over the coming weeks, I guess. On the injury front, of course, Gary's mentioning here, Shelvey didn't train today. Joelinton, a late fitness test. Maybe we'll get to see Bruno and Big Joe play together, unless Howe's playing mind games. I don't think he'd lie about Shelvey not training. I think that basically he hasn't trained yet. We know he's been ill. So he hasn't managed to do a training session yet. So that says to me that possibly Shelvey will be missing tomorrow. Now, for me, it isn't too bad because we've got players that can come in. We know Joe Willock can step in. We know that Joelinton's still to come back in. And, you know, as much as people won't like me saying this, Sean Longstaff is available, who could probably play a sort of deeper role. You know, he's or play further forward. Bruno dropping back. So he does have options there, Alex. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he goes. And does he go back to a four at the back? I mean, that's the big question.
Oh, definitely. Against this Everton side, it would be. Obviously, I kept my cards close to my chest yesterday, but our goal difference could do with a bit of a boost, and this is an opportunity to go and thump someone because we've been due a good game.
Yeah, indeed.
They do have a lot of players returning from injury. They managed to fight it was only a 1-0 loss to Wolves the other day.
Yeah.
But you know, that was previous to that was the 5-0 loss to Tottenham. So yeah, I think we need to go aggressive. I don't think we can be messing around with I don't have any problem with wing backs as an offensive system, but we weren't playing wing backs in an offensive way against Chelsea. It was very much a dig in, 5 at the back, try and stay in the game. And we don't need to do that against Everton, not at all. We can revert back to our 4-3-3. Although saying that, Bruno, whenever he's got Bruno in the pitch, it always just goes back to a double pivot because I don't think it just always seems to go that way. Especially if Shelvey's not going to play. The only reason we stick to that is because Shelvey likes to sit in that little one in front of the back four to play his quarterback sort of role. And if Shelvey's not playing, we don't need that. So we could, in theory, sit somebody next to Bruno and have a 2, and it would release somebody further up. If we sit Longstaff with Bruno, then you can have Willock in front, Joelinton in front, or you know, there's options there. There's definitely options, and we need to go attacking. So no, I don't think 5 at the back. Definitely not.
I'd be very, very surprised if he does go 5 at the back. Rocco says 10-0 Newcastle tomorrow. If Joelinton isn't playing, it's going to be 8-0. Very, very confident. Toon Dave says, evening, chaps. Hope you're all well. How's the blood pressure and rants tonight, Stato?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm excited for the match tomorrow. It's lovely to be excited for games instead of stressed about them. So that points cushions means we can all relax and look forward to it, which is great.
Indeed. Adam says, can this show be on a bit earlier, please? Hard to stay up after 12-hour shifts starting at 5 a.m. Well, Adam, unfortunately, all of us have got things to do as well. So, I mean, it's unfortunate that it's got to be put on this late. Normally, it's a little bit earlier, but hey, it's only one night, Adam. You can get away with it, man. Daniel says, massive game. I think if we win, we're safe and we send them down. I don't quite think we send them down, but it'll really, really put a... Well, I mean, what it'll do, you really think so?
Yeah, if we give them another defeat, they lose their game they start to lose their game in hand advantage on people, and I can't see them getting more points than Burnley.
Well,
so I mean, that might be it, possibly. If
Everton's running is horrible. I mean, they have got a terrible run in as well, which may benefit us. Junior Turner, good evening, my friend. I personally think Eddie is showing ASM no one is bigger than the club. Again, an opinion coming in about the ASM. Junior, I can't use your music again, mate, because I'm getting copyright claims from these overseas peasants. So just to let you know, I've had another copyright claim, which I'm obviously I have explained to YouTube that I have the writer and singer's permission to use the song. So once I get that sorted, I'll be using it again. Don't worry. Ash says, I don't understand why people are having a go at ASM. I like Jacob Murphy personally, But I think ASM has to play. He will dribble around people and he's going to own Coleman. I mean, we said this on the fan forum last night, Alex. You know, ASM, if he's fit, he's got to play against Everton because he ran them ragged at St James's Park and he could easily do the same tomorrow.
Yeah, well, Kenny's suspended for 2 yellow cards, so that's a player on that side they've got out. Coleman's been struggling. I mean, if you look at the Tottenham game, he came out with a 5.8 as an overall rating, and the Wolverhampton game as well, he was 6.6, but he was very, very poor. Very, very, very poor. Just didn't one tackle, but just nothing. That whole Everton team, I don't see. Yeah, fullback apart from Mikolenko putting in some shifts, and obviously it's very difficult for him at the moment being Ukrainian. But he's the other flank, the right wing back position.
Yeah,
I mean it's a shame because it wasn't that long ago that Coleman was one of the best fullbacks in the country. He was very, very good, very, very good player, top player.
Yeah,
and he just doesn't look good enough for this league anymore, and it is a bit of a shame. But hopefully we can exploit that and get some goals.
Yeah, I think we will. Toon Dave says, if it's stupid of the journals to keep asking, only have opportunity not to ask 1 or 2 questions in these press conferences and waste it with something that Eddie's not going to answer. Muppets. Exactly, just wasting the questions. Jolly Riffs in the house, good evening. Anybody bet on Chris Wood at Cheltenham? Dear me. Hopefully Eddie can turn Sean into a real player. That would be nice. Tony says, good evening, hi fellow inmates. Keith says, Almiron most likely gone as well. Yeah, I can pretty much see that. Very good evening, everyone in the chat, and Paul and Alex. Good evening, Paul. Hope you're well, my friend. Thomas says ASM didn't clap the fans. We know. We had a big discussion about that. Matthew says, I thought Longstaff was decent against Chelsea. I did as well. I mean, listen, he wasn't exceptional, but he wasn't poor either. I thought he put a good shift in. So to be honest, if he comes in tomorrow, I'm not going to be too worried because I think, given how worried we were about Chelsea's midfield overrunning us, Alex, it didn't really happen on Sunday.
Yeah, no, indeed. I mean, I think we need somebody in there. If Joelinton's not fit, I think we need Sean Longstaff because he is he's aggressive. He's happy to challenge. He'll fight anybody in a tackle.
Yep.
And they do have Decore back from injury. He's a big boy, wins a lot of duels, puts himself about. He was very, very good against Wolverhampton. To be fair, in the middle, he was just in a very poor performance from the team overall. So we need somebody to. I mean, he might not start, to be fair, but I think it's likely he does. It would be weird if he didn't. And we do need a bit of bite. We need a bit of anger because Bruno's quite small. Willock, despite having a bit of size, I don't think knows how to jump. Unfortunately, he's got an array of talent. I love him as a player, but he just doesn't jump for the ball, and it's bizarre. So I think we need Sean if Joelinton's not fit, because Shelby's also not available. So we just need a bit of aggression.
I mean, with the 2-week break, with the international break coming up after this game, the question has been raised as to whether he risks Joelinton. If Joelinton's saying 90% fit, does he start him? He may not get through the full 90, but I think, given that he gets a good couple of weeks rest, I think if he's only 70% fit, you don't risk him 80% fit. It's borderline. But if he's any fitter than that, I would say play him.
Yeah, I'm undecided on this one. It's really tricky.
Yeah.
The fact he's had time off and he's come back and it's continuing to bother him. I mean,
one of these injuries normally ends up in surgery, doesn't it? Just to put it right.
I was just going to say exactly the same thing. I wonder if it's going to be a surgery jobby and they're just kind of trying to nurse it to the end of the season, maybe. So I would ideal scenario, he doesn't play and he gets rested and he has
we still hammer them.
And we still hammer them because ideally we don't want this to start turning into, oh, Joelinton could have been this player, but he's had a niggling groin injury for the last 3 seasons. We don't want that. We want this to be fixed so we can have our beast midfielder back for next season. So, it's a tough one.
Yeah. Football Style says, hi, Paul. I want your thoughts on Darwin Núñez. He is a baller. Do you think we will buy him in the summer? Well, he's linked. But the thing is, mate, come the summer, we're going to be linked with every single player that plays football. So it's going to be one of those summers where we're linked with everybody, and it'll be very exciting for us Newcastle fans to see who we actually bring in. It's going to be very exciting.
He plays on the left as well.
Yeah,
we've got a lot of them.
Yeah, Maxi for one, which will be interesting. Ian says, I am sick and tired of reporters asking how questions about Saudi national politics. Yeah, good evening, mate. I hope you're well. Maybe ASM only claps fans who hold up Helios signs. Oh, dear me. Oh, dear. Brian Scott, good evening, mate. Hope you're well. Kath, good evening. She says, Elliot Anderson, he's getting rave reviews at Bristol. Surely they'll bring him into the first team squad for next season. The thing is, I mean, Matty Longstaff's doing really well on loan as well, Alex, but we have to remember what league these guys are playing in. They're down in League Two. And it's a big drop. It's great that they're doing well, but I think people also have to remember the league they're playing in. Now, if they stand out every week in that league, then that's fantastic. And I think Elliot Anderson is somebody who I'm very excited about to see what he can become in the future. And I really would like to see him involved in the first team next year. Matty Longstaff, I'm still very undecided, and I don't think he's got a future at Newcastle, to be fair. But Elliot Anderson, possibly so.
Yeah, no, I think Anderson looks the most promising out of the two. Matty does have a lot of natural talent. He's done some lovely things over the years, but yeah, he's playing in a lower division. I don't know. I was thinking about this today about whether Matty's future is tied to Sean's, possibly, because obviously his dad is the agent.
Yeah.
And is the contract with Sean going to include some sort of, can we give Matty another year? Or, well, I think Matty's contract's not up anyway, but I still wonder how connected those two are in terms of contract talks. So maybe that's a factor, maybe not. And that's for Anderson.
With the dad, shouldn't I? Play nice hockey with David. I should try and sneak in and get some inside info into what's going on.
Exactly. But the step up, though, I mean, it's what you said. Playing against what they're playing, they're doing really well. They're doing incredible, let's be honest. But if they come back to the Prem, they've got a week in, week out play against Martinho and Neves at Wolves. They've got to play against Ndidi Tielemans at Leicester. Coutinho is at Villa. We've got some midfielders in this league at the moment. Even mid-table have got some world-class midfielders. The league's just gone crazy strong. So do people like that walk into our team and start beating those kinds of talents? It's a big step up. It's a huge step up. This has been a problem for years with the reserve teams and under 23s. Bridging that gap to the first team in the Prem is so hard because the step up is just so steep.
Yeah, it is. And, I've got a little bit of a worry, that he's going to play Lascelles tomorrow. I don't know why. I really don't know why, because I think, if sensible heads are on, I think Eddie Howe goes with Shah and Byrne. But we've seen this. I think the problem with myself is I see this as like seeing so many times in the past where defenders have excelled when Lascelles hasn't been in the team. Now, do I think Lascelles did all right on Sunday? Absolutely. First 10 minutes, he was all over the shop. But then he grew into the game and he played really well with the other two. But this is the debate that I keep having with myself in my own head, is that I've seen it happen so many times. But surely it's got to be Byrne and Shah if he goes with the 4.
I mean, that's what I've got down. That's my prediction. But if we're exploring the topic, maybe. I mean, Byrne got hit in the head. He's played every game since he's come in.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll give him a rest and he'll put Lascelles and Shah together. It's possible. I would prefer it to stay as Byrne and Shah in a back 4. But it has legs, the theory, and it's maybe. He is the captain. He played. He mentioned in his press conference that Lascelles didn't drop out of the side through any fault of his own. It was because of sickness that he dropped out of the
starting 11. That's what got me thinking. That's got the cogs turning and thinking, hang on, is that some sort of coded message?
If it's in his mind, then if it's in the forefront of Eddie Howe's mind, then maybe, potentially. We'll see.
I mean, he may turn around tomorrow and excuse me, it may be Lascelles and Shah, And he may turn around and say, look, Dan Burn took a nasty bang on the head and he's not 100%. Because, given the size of that lump at the end of the game, there's got to be an element of concussion around that because, you don't get a bang on the head like that and not suffer for a few days. But we don't know. I mean, again, it'll be, when this team comes out at, 6:45 tomorrow, we will know. And we will kind of get Eddie's answers when he gets interviewed.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be the one telling Dan Burn he's not starting against Pickford.
Of course not. Of course not. Definitely. Tony says, I remember when this channel got like 50 views. So well done, Paul. Congrats. Yes, Tony, you've been around since the very start, mate. And I really do appreciate that. You were one of the very first subscribers, I believe. So thank you again for sticking with us for so long. Caitlin and Nick, Paul, are they still checking vaccine passports before the matches? Just checking for the Wolves game. Well, I never ever got my vaccine passport checked, to be honest, going into St James's. I know there was announcements outside the ground during that time saying, please have your vaccine passports ready. But I never got mine checked. Certain people did. I know some people definitely did, but they're not doing it anymore. I mean, there's no law on vaccines anymore. There's no, there is nothing on COVID now anyway. So, we're all just going in there and jumping around like madmen when we score. So, no is the answer. Matthew says, as long as we don't lose, I'll be happy, to be honest. I really can't see that. I cannot see Everton beating us. Dan says, I imagine being at work for the match. Yep. Unlucky, mate. Farhad says, 8-0 Newcastle just to make the Scouts Mackham's fall to 18th place. That would be nice. The truth is, I don't fear any team we play now. VAR, on the other hand, is worrying from the kickoff, says Tony. If you haven't seen my video today, I did release a video early this morning regarding sort of, why are English referees so bad. So if you want to go and watch that after the show, I have also done an Eddie Howe press conference reaction as well. So if you want to go and watch those pre-recorded videos, they're on the channel. So if you want to check them out after the show. Chris says, hi guys, hope you're well. 2-1 to the Toon. Ash says, they really have a shit run of games after us. If they lose tomorrow, I think Lampard and, the whole of Everton Football Club, when they see the running they've got, Alex, they're going to be terrified. So they're going to be really probably... My suggestion would be for Newcastle to be ready for Everton to come out flying first 5-10 minutes to try and, similar to what Chelsea did on Sunday. But if we can get an early goal and start dominating possession, then the fans are going to turn very quickly again.
Yeah, well, there's been a slightly altered build-up to this for Everton. I think it was the Chronicle and a few other places have been reporting on what's been going on at Everton, and apparently they've been putting flags on seats. They've got a few fans in to speak to the players pre-match. They've got some fans to write in about what it means to be an Evertonian. So they, I mean, fair enough to them. They're trying to sort it out. Fair play. It does have shades of what we do about it, which is quite funny considering how much stick we've gotten from them in the past.
Indeed.
So yeah, that is going to be the plan, is to come out absolutely roaring and raring. But yeah, if we can keep hold of the ball and get that crowd quiet, possibly grab an early one, that will turn toxic really quickly. So, and that sets up the platform for us to go and put 4 past them. So, fingers crossed.
I'm sure the visiting supporters will be extremely happy to jump on the bandwagon and give the Everton fans some stick. I mean, I'll be quite kind to them, I'm sure, on the commentary tomorrow, as I always am about Everton Football Club. Daniel says, yes, got my comment read out, and Stato agreed with me. My life is complete. Up the Toon. Right, there you go, Alex. Somebody's life is complete because you agree with them.
If you quote stats, then I'll always agree with you.
Yep, you're becoming the big stats celebrity now, Alex, where people are celebrating the fact that you agree with them, which must be nice because he very rarely agrees with me. Matthew says, so am I sure? I think it's going to be because I really don't like Everton and don't want to lose to them. Indeed, Matthew. Gary says, I'm 100% confident we will beat Everton tomorrow night, lads. Thumbs up from Ronald. Jeff says, the good thing is Everton will have to set up assuming ASM plays. If he doesn't, then they will be totally unbalanced. that's why Eddie's not giving anything away, Alex, because he knows that in his own mind.
Yeah, I mean, I don't 100% agree with that necessarily. I agree that teams do plan for ASM because it's a very weird player to play against. This is why I always put him on my team, because you've got to put yourself in the shoes of the opposition manager when you're trying to prep for that. You've got to prepare for him to have an on day. He'll rip you apart. You've got to have men marking him. You've got to track back, and when you get countered, you have to make sure you have your shape. It's a nightmare to plan for against somebody like St. Maximin. It really is, especially with their right back situation with Coleman. Kenny's out suspended, so if he's not there, then I do kind of disagree a little bit, because Murphy would come in as the replacement, and he won't offer. I don't think Murphy's going to catch them out by surprise, because he forces them, goes down the line instead of. Not really. Murphy's a little bit better in the first half an hour at exploiting space in behind. He does have some pace. He's done it a few times. So if he ends up on the pitch, hopefully he can do more of that, because their midfield, similar to what I mentioned about Southampton, their midfield, they don't have to jog back in transition sometimes. There's a big hole between their centre-backs and their midfield. Lots and lots of space. So for people like Willock and Murphy, if we can get some counters going, I mean, that's exactly the goal, wasn't it? There was a lot of Murphy and Willock drives and goals recently, and that's because of opposition's midfield just not being on point. So hopefully we can see that.
Definitely. Joshua says, Paul, is that a ghost behind Alex's guitar? No, it's a shadow. It's the shadow of the top of the guitar. I see why you're thinking it's a ghost, because it does look like a bit of
the sheep, possibly.
Well, we all know about the sheep, Alex. I mean, we're not going into your fascination with sheep again, because you and your partner have a weird infatuation with sheep, and we will just keep that between.
Just Poland, they like the sheep in the mountains. It's their thing here.
Indeed, but so do the Welsh. Jessica says, any idea when Callum is back? I think it's going to be April. He is back in light training, though, which is a good sign, and nice to see. So he is back in training, very light training, obviously, but
and he's fit as well, because he posted that picture, him and Isaac Hayden.
Yeah, steady on,
and
Alex.
he is pretty shredded.
I mean, yes, he is. He's okay, very well shredded, and I think the ladies enjoyed that photo, Alex, and clearly you did as well. I'm
speaking from an athletic perspective.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
When did he get injured? Mid-December.
Yes.
So that's 3 months out, 4 months out.
Yeah.
And to be at that conditioning level when you go back to training is
indeed. But I don't think the ladies will be looking at that photo thinking the same as you, mate.
They're not looking at stats. Sorry.
No, definitely not. I know what they'll be looking at, but ladies, if you disagree with me, feel free to comment. But I think you'll have quite admired the way that Callum Wilson looked, and looking forward to him coming back. Malcolm says, I want to see how Big Dan deals with Ali. Well, Ali's been substitute. He's never started a game yet, I don't think, for Everton since he signed. I'm
not sure.
I may be wrong on that.
Late against Wolves.
He's been a sub a lot since he's come to the club, so I'm not sure. But we'll see. Tiger Studio says, the best I've seen Almiron was the last 6 months when Benitez was here. Chris is middle to late April for Callum Wilson. Yeah, that's what I've heard as well. There was a horse that ran called Chris Wood today, though, Paul. Seriously, he didn't win, was too slow. Story checks out, says Ash. There was a horse called Christopher Wood. Apparently it was 50-1. Well, it sounds like it was 50-1 for a good reason as well. Very interesting. How will not risk J7 or Shelby if not fit? Interesting. I'm hearing Callum is a possible for the bench against Leicester. We'll wait and see on that. Troll says, what's the stats on Longstaff's passing in the Chelsea game, Stato?
On the Chelsea game?
Yeah.
I mean, the passing of the entire team was pretty poor against Chelsea. It was more of a hold shape, smash and grab kind of job. We were all poor at passing. So Longstaff was 17 out of 25 accurate passes, 68%. He got one long ball. But again, his job was to just stay in his shape and be aggressive, run 4 ground duels. I mean, for comparison, Bruno actually completed fewer passes and was less accurate with them. So
Indeed.
it's not always about the stats; it's about the system.
No, I
and
mean,
who
we
you
didn't
play
have a
in.
lot of the ball, to be fair, did we? I mean, Chelsea dominated possession, but we knew that was going to happen anyway. It just was a nice change because, you know, although we didn't have a lot of possession, we didn't just sit back and take it up the backside like we have in the earlier games this season. We competed, which was massive for me. Gary Hannant, welcome to the new members club, matey. As I say, I don't know if that's a renewal or whether it's a new one, but welcome to the Toon Review family, my friend. Thank you very much. That just gives us a quick intro to say that if you are enjoying the show tonight, as usual, please do hit that like button. If you're new to the channel and like what you see, please do subscribe. We are less than 250 away now from 10,000. It would be fantastic to hit that mark shortly. Never, when I started the channel, did I think this would happen, but we are getting closer every day, guys. So pass it around your friends, family, whoever you think might be interested in watching, and get them to subscribe as well. You can become a member like Gary just has there. So you click the join button just underneath the video, or the link is in the description. You can donate as well to the channel if you wish tonight. If you just hit the super chat button, which is the $sign at the bottom of the live comments, that will take you through to a payment method if you wish to make a donation to the channel on tonight's show. And of course, a massive shout out to our continued sponsors of the channel, Geordie Riffs, premium guitar lessons for beginners and children based here in the good old northeast of England. Guitar repairs and servicing. You will get 10% off your first repair and service with them, and a free first guitar lesson if you mention to them the Toon Review. And they do have a recording studio if you fancy giving that a go as well. You can find them at geordieriffs.co.uk, Instagram at Geordie Riffs, or Facebook at Geordie Riffs Official. So thank you to Graham and Natalie for their continued fantastic support of the channel. Louis says, what channel is the match on tomorrow night? Well, it's on Amazon in the UK. But if you don't have Amazon, obviously there will be live commentary on the Toon Review with myself. So if you do have Amazon, watch it, turn the volume down, and watch me lose my mind against the Scouse Mackems, which I will definitely do. Win or lose, my mind is going to be lost, because I will absolutely love it if we destroy them. If they beat us, however, I will be, well, I'll be like one of those, you know, depressed goldfish that you see in a pet shop with those big eyes that just look extremely unhappy with life. And I will probably look like that towards the end of the game. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Alex, it is now time for your wonderful graphics and formations. So let's have a look at it and see what you think might happen tomorrow.
Indeed. So this is our board. Can we see everything okay?
Mm-hmm.
We can. Cool. So this is SofaScore's predicted Everton lineup for tomorrow. It's not necessarily how it's going to be, but this is what the stat people think it's going to be. And this is I just threw some players on the pitch. It might not be this. And this is what I would like to see. I mean, it depends on who's fit. Obviously, I would always love to have J7 on if he's fit. But this is what I think is going to be available and what I would probably use.
I mean, if Shelvey hasn't trained, he's not going to play, is he? I mean, let's be honest. It'd be a big surprise if Shelvey's in the starting lineup.
Yeah, so I think the only talking points really are, a lot of people have put Kraft straight back into their predictions, which I think now that Manquillo's had a lot more minutes, well, I say a lot more minutes. He's had more minutes. I think he will start. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't.
Yeah.
I think Kraft was only in the team because we were still winning. So
I agree with that. Yeah.
I'd be surprised if Kraft starts. So this is what I would do, and it's also what I think Eddie Howe's going to do. Secondly, obviously there's the 4-3-3. Do we? Don't we? It's probably gonna look a lot more like a double pivot with Bruno playing. Bruno will most likely start. Again, it would be weird if he didn't. He didn't even mention him in the press conference, so I think he's a nailed-on starter. To be fair, Longstaff for the aggression. He's available. He's fit. And Willock was the person in the press conference mentioned about having trained. So there aren't really many other options in midfield unless we completely jig around formations. And then again, this is a really controversial one among other people about who the wingers are going to be. he mentioned Fraser had a tight hamstring and didn't start Chelsea for that reason.
Mhm.
So it wasn't just rotation. Apparently, it was the hamstring. So does he start? Maybe, maybe not. Again, with Maxi as well, is he 100% fit? Not sure. I think he is going to go with Maxi and Fraser up front, in my opinion. But we could equally see Murphy or Almiron, come into that
Mhm.
lineup.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a problem. And obviously Chris Wood up front. Now, how they're going to line up? This is what they've been lining up a lot. Decore's come back from injury and is a big dominant midfielder. Dominic Calvert-Lewin did come back from injury, but I
But
don't know if he's been
he's in.
confirmed injured again, has he?
I think he's out for the season, mate. I genuinely,
Again?
yeah,
Oh dear.
he's definitely injured. So I just think he's very similar to Callum Wilson. He seems to be made of glass. You know what I mean? He comes
Yeah.
back, he's out again. Which is of course a bonus for us. It's not great news for Everton though.
No, because I just don't see where they score from. I
Mm.
really don't. They're trying really hard, but Van der Beek and Decore again had good passing stats in midfield, but they just didn't do anything with it. When you
Mhm.
actually look at Everton statistically, crosses are just non-existent. Long passes, non-existent. Key passes, non-existent. Dribblers. I mean, you've got Gordon and Gray doing lots of dribbles. Gray seems to be their focal point, kind of their Maxi, if you will. He was trying to cross and dribble and do
Yeah,
things. We
yeah.
didn't have a problem against him when we played last time because I'm pretty sure he came off injured quite early on, so we
Mhm.
didn't have any issues. Richarlison again offside a bunch. He's good with his pressures. He wins his duels. He runs about a lot, but he's how many times was he offside? 4 offsides against Wolves. 3 shots, 2 off target. It's just not happening for Richarlison this season. He's really, really struggling.
Mhm.
Um, and again, as I mentioned when we were chatting earlier, on the way back when they're getting countered, there seems to be a lot of space in this little
Well,
section
yeah, I
here.
was going to say that. I mean, when you look at that formation, um, given that the players Everton have it, I mean, Keane to me he is one of these centre backs that really hasn't stepped up to the next level. He was expected when he came from Burnley, didn't he? So I think he was expected to really step it up. I don't think he has at Everton. I think Holgate can be good at, and I think Godfrey can be good at as well. Which is why I think ASM will start because and Fraser, to be fair, I think they can both get at that back line because, like you've just shown there, Decore and Van der Beek pushing up to try and help the forwards, that leaves a lot of space. And
Yeah.
quite a lot of space, to be fair, for us to utilise.
Yeah, I mean it's great. This is the position. So before people got injured, the first Everton game, this is why we started to see Willock start to really flourish
Yeah.
because Maxi and Target were doing so much work over here,
Mhm.
and then Joelinton was winning his duels in this little left section, and
Yeah.
Willock was just free to drive constantly into the box and be this box to box, and
Mhm.
he's just grown so much in confidence. And then if we've also got Fraser, it just looks really, really tidy. I can see
Mhm.
their centre backs. There's a lot of miscommunication between these centre backs and a lot of errors. Generally fairly solid, but again, we've got Wood and Byrne who are always a threat. Um, Again, Byrne is a massive key part of our set pieces. Everything from targets, left side corners, it always goes to Byrne back post, and that's how Bruno got his magic goal.
Yeah,
That is the tactic.
especially if Pickfordosaurus tries to out jump Dan Burn. We
Yeah,
know he's got 3-inch arms, and
Pickford does have a tendency to come for crosses,
he
and
does.
he's quite small, so that'll be lovely if he tries against Byrne because he's not going to win that.
Yeah, quite small, stumpy arms. I mean, we've got to utilize that as best we can. But you know what? When you look at that and we talk about that, I mean, it sort of gives you more confidence for tomorrow. Now,
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Longstaff can. This is the
I
thing. This
have a
is the thing
feeling
with Longstaff.
J7's going to play, Alex. I do.
You
I
think Joe's going
really
to be
do.
in?
I
All right,
do.
let's put Joe back in this nice picture then. So there is a difference if Joe plays. If Joelinton does play, he typically gets moved up to that left side.
Yes, he does.
Um,
Yeah.
so he likes to. Normally, his job is protect this man up here and win
Mhm.
everything, which normally works very well, especially when Wood, Joelinton get really tight to Maxi.
Yeah.
Maxi gets a lot of space, and this plan, this little three,
Mhm.
worked so well the last time we played Everton.
Yeah.
Um, So, but the question is with midfield, this little three has not been tried with Bruno yet, because obviously this is normally Shelvey.
It is, yeah.
So,
So
we're
does
not
that mean
sure
Joelinton has to change his game a little bit to offer a bit more protection to Bruno?
Potentially. It just depends whether
With
we think
Decore in the
Bruno
side, of course, for
can
Everton.
play. Can Bruno play this same role as Shelvey? Because Shelvey is very much a shield who does long balls and
Well,
things.
Bruno is a defensive midfielder, though, isn't he? So I would say yes, he can. But I think, given his early days in the Premier League, I think possibly, a bit more support from
Yeah.
Big Joe.
I mean, for context, the way he played at Lyon is the same thing. Eddie Howe's done the same thing with him as what he was doing at Lyon. Is Lyon set up like this with Paqueta?
4-2-3-1.
This is Dembele,
Yeah.
and they set up kind of like that. And they're a little double pivot here. So I think this was Paqueta. Was that Paqueta? And that was Bruno. And they would
you maybe move Joelinton? What I would say there is, if that's the case, if that's a formation that Eddie might go with, then drop Joelinton, move Bruno to where Willock is, just pirouette them round. So Joelinton left.
Up there.
Yeah, Joelinton and Willock swap.
Okay, I like this.
Yeah,
potentially. Yeah.
So
I mean,
I wouldn't be too annoyed to see a formation like that. To be honest, I think that's a very winnable formation for us. I think that would cause Everton a lot of problems.
Yeah, it's a theory. It's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen Joe this deep though. He comes he comes to track back this deep.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to. So he can float, can't he? Because let's face it, like you mentioned before, when Everton push forward, there's going to be gaps, which I think Joelinton can utilise by getting forward to help Willock out when we're on the attack, and then defensively drop back a little bit to help out Bruno. So I think he could do it. He could do that role quite well. I think.
I agree. I think if we're on the ball and we're confident, I think this could work. But I'm not 100%. I don't know, because these lads are so used to, if they go up here, Shelvey is always there, always ever present. He knows he shields. He'll get the yellow card if he needs to, and he'll clean it up.
So does Eddie ask Bruno to do that, and Bruno has to be disciplined?
Possibly, yeah. We might try to be. This might be the day where we ask more from Bruno and we say, look, you're in now. Let's, we can't. We're not going to hold your hand today. We're gonna let you be the boss of the midfield, and you need to start making these decisions yourself. And he looks like he is talented enough to do that, as long as he doesn't get dominated physically. So we do need to try and keep Decore off him, because that's going to hurt. Which is why, again, it's a funny one. We'll see. We shall see.
It is, but really, really looking forward to the game, to be honest, because showing those sort of graphics gets you sort of thinking, right, if we do this or we do that, this can happen or that can happen, and it gets you really excited for the game. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can do, because I genuinely think Everton are going to come out flying tomorrow. If they don't, I'll be very, very surprised. I think the first 10, 15 minutes, we have to be alert to that, and we have to just see that first 10, 15 minutes out, like we did against Chelsea in a way, because they came at us very quickly. But I think we've got the players, and Everton don't have the same sort of players as Chelsea's. Therefore, just get a foothold in the game and then start pushing them back. And I think the game completely changes. I think, the fans get very restless. They know how important getting points is tomorrow. So things become very restless, and we utilize that to our benefit, really. And I think that's how I see the game starting anyway. Christopher says, I found it strange that ASM didn't applaud the fans at full time, yet he did whilst warming up on the touchline. But I think in a way to defend Maxi, if he was annoyed, he didn't really get anywhere when he came on. He didn't have any look when he was on the pitch. He may just thought, as bad as the decision was, I think, not to applaud the fans. We know what he's like. He's very extravagant. But that's what you're going to get from your flair players, I think, at the end of the day. Matty Longstaff had a moan about his contract under Ashley, so not sure what Matty would be demanding this time around. Will VAR be on our side or Everton's side? Well, they shouldn't be on any side, to be fair. They should be impartial and give decisions as they see them on the pitch. However, we know that doesn't happen. Matthew says, I'm going to cry if Lascelles starts tomorrow. He's such a liability, especially when he steps forward. That's what I worry about with him in a 4, is the offside trap.
Yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't be confident him starting in a back 4 with Gray and Gordon, because as poor as Everton have been, they have got very good players individually, and people shouldn't underestimate them. I do think we can win this 3 or 4-0. I really do. We could potentially go at them, but they have quality, and if 5 or 6 of them turn up in a big way, they're going to be a really hard team to play against. There's no reason they can't score or play well themselves. We've got to be up for it. We can't underestimate them because there's a lot of good players in their team still.
Yeah, well, it's like George says there. I do expect Everton to be on it tomorrow. It could be a banana skin for sure. But then again, a lot of people have said they expected Everton to be on it a few matches, for several weeks now, and it ain't happened. But
you know what we're like. We like to break records for people, don't we?
Of course. Well, the old Newcastle did, Alex. I think it's a bit different now with this new mindset we've got. Chris said, I had Dele Alli in the tunnel, twat him after the match. I wouldn't mess with him. Yeah, I think there'll be interesting battles going on.
I checked. He hasn't started.
Yeah, I thought as much. I thought he did, which is very, very strange.
Not even against Boreham Wood. He's just...
Nah, he didn't. And I find that weird. Don't know if you saw my comment, Paul, but there's a troll in the Toon Review Discord that needs to be... Yeah, I'll sort that out, Matthew. Don't worry. We'll get onto that. Those of you that don't know, we do have a Discord as well. I'm still trying to get used to that myself, but it is linked below in the description if you want to give the Discord group a look at as well. It's really good, set up by Tangy, and it is absolutely brilliant. So if you want to go and have a look at that. Liverpool apparently winning 1-0 against the Arsenal. Never underestimate the opposition. I am sure Eddie won't. No, he won't. I don't feel nervous like I used to feel before each game. I'm excited about every game now. I think that's right as well, Alex. It's a complete change around now, isn't it? Where, earlier, certainly when I was doing match previews under Steve Bruce, it was like, it was like, pass me the rope kind of thing, and I'm going to tie myself to the ceiling. But it's not like that now, is it? It's very... we look forward to seeing what Eddie Howe's going to do, because we know he's a tactician. We know he likes to study the game. We know he thinks ahead to what the opposition are going to do. And that is the difference that we've got now as fans, because we get to see the benefit of that.
Yeah, he'll be loving this challenge tomorrow. Definitely. I'm sure he'd be wanting a few more players fit and available, but that's the Premier League. And they're definitely there to be had. For sure, it's all there for him. Tactics, formation. We've played them recently. We're very aware of what most of their 11 can do, because we saw it a few weeks ago with our own eyes. We're very aware of how they've been playing themselves against other teams in the cup. It's there. It really is there, and it's exciting. I mean, if you think back to recent victories where we've scored a few goals, typically it's been the free kicks and things like that. I'm still adamant we are due a game where we get a lot of goals from open play, because it's coming. We've had a tough few games. Brighton, Southampton, Chelsea were really hard games, but prior to that, when we were a bit more dominant, even against West Ham, we were very, very strong, which was impressive. Yeah. We are due, picking up that ball, dominating, and we're due, scoring from open play and going for the jugular. It's got to happen, because we've had all the positive signs for it. So hopefully ASM and some of these players come in and it starts to click. And remember, Bruno to ASM, we haven't seen much of that yet. So I want to see 90 minutes with both of them together and see what those key passes can do.
Still a lot to be excited about, isn't there? Because there's still certain things that we just haven't seen yet. Whitey says, would Toon Review and World of Sport TV do a team quiz against each other? It would be good crack. Well, we are looking at actually doing something like a question of sport or something like that. So, or just a question of football. But we will see. We are trying to sort that out, but it may be that is in the close season, just when there's no football going on. But we are definitely looking. Me and Barry are trying to put something together for that, which would be really funny. I think that would be a really good laugh. So stay tuned for that one. Yeah, Danielle is working, unfortunately, very early in the morning, mate. So Jamie, so she can't be with us tonight, but she will be back on Friday night when we do the review of the game.
The winning review of the game.
A winning review of the game. Yes, another one. Murphy is very good at making runs and getting in behind, says George. I
He
hope
forgot to
Everton play
write
keen.
and hit the post on the end of that comment.
Yes. Yeah, he needs to improve his finishing. Paul, is that a bat in the dressing room? Absolutely not. No. The reason I changed my background tonight was because I had a couple of comments from my press conference reaction video today saying, "Oh, I can still see Sports Direct signs behind you," and it was angering people, and it was really it was hitting a nerve with a lot of people. I didn't realize that you could actually see any Sports Direct signs, which is why I've changed my background. But I will find a better one that doesn't contain. But I like being in the dressing room. It's nice and warm, and you get that Newcastle United feeling. Seattle Geordie says the problem is all these fans and flags and emails support coming in is from Liverpool fans. Fair enough. When do you reckon Trips will be back, guys? I'm not sure we'll see him back this season. He may play the last couple of games. I don't see him being risked, though, Alex, if there's no need to risk him.
No, I mean he came out and mentioned himself. It's one of those injuries to which the time of recovery is dependent on the person. I think what was the time? It was something like 4 to 8. I think there was a really huge range of when he could be okay. So it just depends. How long's it been now since he's had surgery? 3 to 4 weeks. We're got a week left of March, so
it'd be very tight.
Yeah, I mean, if everything goes absolutely smooth and perfect, we might see him mid-April. But that's asking for the best case scenario in everything. Perfect rehab, perfect healing, perfect conditioning and fitness, ready to get back. So probably, maybe we'll see. Maybe he's got a few games.
Yeah. George says he's a cracking looking bloke, Paul. Obviously, we're talking about Callum Wilson. Matthew says my lass loves Callum Wilson. YT says Wilson back for the Tottenham game. Santos says, is there something wrong with this stream? Trying to watch it on Netflix phone, but it's all black. I'm not sure what a Netflix phone is, if I'm honest, Santos. But there is nothing wrong with the stream, mate. We are streaming very good, but I'm not sure what's going on at your end. AJ says, evening, Paul and Alex. I think we have a tactical genius in Eddie Howe, which is brilliantly refreshing after all these years of hurt. A resounding 4-0 is on the menu. That would be very nice indeed. Was that the Chelsea game Sunday? Must say, so underwhelmed by ASM. His attitude sucks. Again, that is just a comment. That is just an opinion. I hope they get relegated just to piss Van der Beek right off. He didn't want to go to a team fighting relegation, and that's exactly what he's done. Jog on your mug. Take care, lads, says KK. Yeah, he's going to get some, a lot of Newcastle fans having a little dig at him tomorrow. Matthew says Bruno did play a lovely ball to ASM from a free kick. Okay. Bob says, Paulo and Stato, you guys are the jobbos. You have a few equals quality. Thank you very much, Bob. 10k and 3 points tomorrow night. That would be astounding, wouldn't it, if we can do that all in one night? 2-0 to Liverpool, apparently, against the Arsenal. Novik says, could be wrong, but didn't Dan Burn have a coming together with Dele Alli at St James's Park? I think a lot of people had a coming together with Dele Alli.
Yeah. And Joelinton as well.
And Joelinton, yeah. Maybe after all the criticism Maxi has taken lately, he'll go out against Everton tomorrow and have a stormer. I would love that to happen. And I think that will be in the back of his mind as well. Gary says, I hope Fraser and Willock start if ASM plays, as they'll get space with ASM pulling people over to the left-hand side.
Gary gets it.
Yeah, he does. He does. Justin's going for a 4-1 to the Toon tomorrow. It's a new membership, Paul, mate. I've always watched it. New people can like and share and subscribe, even talk for free with a friendly atmosphere, one big family. Cheers, Gary. Thank you very much, matey. As I say, welcome to the family. And Gary then says, and have anyone heard of new players being named from some of the Premier League teams? And NUFC is one of them for Neymar, which can be very interesting. I would not like Neymar at this club. I don't particularly like Neymar. I think he's, for me, his attitude isn't right. I mean, did you see that penalty he took a couple of weeks ago? Honestly, it was a disgrace. It was like a pass back to the goalkeeper. I don't know what he was trying to do. Whether he's trying to be clever or not, it certainly backfired on him. It was absolutely horrendous.
I think there are better players we can add to the Brazilian contingent in terms of attitude. If people don't like Maxi, then God, you don't want to see Neymar in our dressing room. Bloody hell.
Yeah. KK says, I'm going for a 3-1 win for the Toon, and I'm hoping Maxi turns up on the day. Have a stormer all game. Loving the show. Take care, lads. Neil says, Paul's commentary when Wood scored his first goal and broke his duck was class. Well worthy of a Sky Sports pundit. Quack, quack, fuck off. You couldn't have put it any more eloquently. Thank you very much. I always try to be eloquent on the commentaries, as you well know. John's backdoor says, I hate my phone. Didn't even get a notification for the live stream. Keep checking the channel, mate. That's how you find out. Just keep checking, because I am starting to put a lot of the live streams now up in good advance, so you can actually just keep checking. Gray and Gordon may be the reason I think ASM won't start, says Andrew.
Well, we got Matt Target, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. Chris Murray out in the States there. This is for Alex's sheep. Baram, you to your fleece. Your clan be true. Baram, you, that I'll do pig. I'm really not sure what the hell he's on about.
I don't know if I should laugh. I didn't get it.
Listen. He's got a good sense of humor, Chris. He's a great lad. But I'm not sure what he means by that either. Chris, I think I'm dedicating a Sinclair to you tonight for that one, mate. Justin says, move Willock to the right wing, Fraser on the bench, and Bruno just behind the front three.
You lot love suggesting Willock on the wing or Willock up front. I don't know where. You never know. You never know. Ever since Joelinton got moved, everybody's like,
guys, don't upset Alex. Don't upset him. Don't upset the apple cart.
It might be a good idea. Genuinely, but people have suggested Willock up front or Willock on the wing. It might work. I don't know. It's an interesting idea. I wouldn't do it myself. I think it's really risky. But it's a cool idea. But ever since the Joelinton move, everybody's just like, sod it. Let's just put centre backs up front. We'll just throw Dubravka on the wing. Why not? Everybody's just suggesting positional changes. It's quite funny.
Daniel says, is Gordon not suspended? Didn't he get sent off?
That was Kenny, I believe.
Yes, it was Kenny.
Double check for you.
I'm pretty sure it was Kenny.
Where are Everton? There they are. Blue badges, Chelsea, Everton, they're all the same.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Kenny.
It was Kenny. Yeah, 2 yellow cards. Who did he say got sent off?
Gordon.
Gordon's fine. He did okay. He played full 90 minutes against Wolves.
Mm-hmm. Malcolm says, I'm just wondering what Stato has been saying to Lingard on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter, so I wouldn't know.
I mean, I did open Twitter before the show, and there's a few people. There's a few Instagram things like West Ham fans, but the West Ham are literally floating around every single player we're linked with. I said this in January. We have the same homework. It's really funny. Same players.
Interesting. Ryan says CDM and or centre midfield are his best positions in midfield. Obviously talking about Bruno there. Northumberland Jolly says, my mate came up with a song in the tune of In Spiral Carpets. This is how it feels to be Pickford. This is how it feels to be small. This is how it feels when your arms reach nothing at all. Quality. Absolutely brilliant. I would have sung that, but I've got a bit of a sore throat tonight, so I'll not put anybody through that. But there you go. Right, Alex, what is going to be your ideal team for tomorrow night then? Have we seen it? Was that on the stats? Just read it out for us, and then a score prediction.
I mean, it's based on who's fit. Yeah, I'll go with our standard back four. I'll go with Dubravka in goal, obviously. Mountains, as in large hills.
I knew somebody would pick you up on it. I had a feeling.
Target left back, Burn and shirt. I don't think Lascelles is going to come back in. I know you have the suspicious feeling, but don't worry. Yeah. I hope it's just a feeling. Manquillo at right back. I think he is going to come in ahead of Kraft. I think he offers a lot more defensively and offensively. Winning free kicks. He scored a goal at the start of the season. He's a decent player. Mm-hmm. And then I think he's going to go double pivot. It'll be the same as we've seen before, a 4-3-3. But instead of Shelvey as the 1 and Joelinton and Joe Willock, I think it's going to be a Bruno next to Longstaff, and then Willock in front of that. I don't think Joelinton's going to start. Some people do. That'd be great if he does. But I think it'll be Bruno, Longstaff, Willock in midfield 3. I think Maxi's going to start with Wood, and unless Fraser's hamstring is worse than was suggested in the press conference, I don't see why Fraser doesn't start either. So I think it's a similar lineup to what we saw previously, with Bruno and Maxi on the same pitch together. Hopefully, we can get lots of crosses in and do bits.
And the score?
And the score. Oh, I'm going to put. I'm normally quite safe with my predictions, but I'm going to put my trust in the team, and I think if my lineup starts, I think we win this 4-0.
Fair enough. 4-0, wow. Toon Dave's going 3-0, Wood hat-trick, and Maxi or Bruno. Who's going to score, Alex, if you're going 4-0?
I want Maxi to score a hat-trick because I want all the egg from faces to make a nice, lovely omelette, because I'm really bored of the Maxi comments. I wanted to say a little tiny piece about what people were saying earlier about him having, again, continually saying he had a bad game against Chelsea. He played 21 minutes, guys. So when he plays 90 minutes, he always we've all watched this, a 90-minute period from Maxi. He always has good periods, bad periods, lazy periods, injured periods, and then he switches on again. This happens over the course of a match. So when you give him 20 minutes and he's a bit off, I feel like that's so harsh to judge him for, especially to try and justify dropping him as well. I just feel like you've got to have a bigger sample size, because we know what he's like when he plays 90 minutes, especially against a poor right back. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. People got to remember he had 21 minutes. It happens.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Fair enough. Ian saying a Scouse omelette, yum. Will we end up with positive goal difference by the end of the season?
Oh, the 4th is I think Longstaff's going to get one.
Really? Fair enough. Right, for me, the team I'm going for is Dubravka in goal, Manquillo right back, left back Marty Target, Burnshaw in the middle. Now I'm hoping Joelinton will play, so I'm going Joelinton, Bruno, Willock in that 3 that we talked about earlier. And up front, I hope it's Maxi, Fraser, and Chris Wood up front. Pretty straightforward. If Joelinton doesn't make it, then I would play Longstaff, if I'm honest. I think he's, like I say, he did nothing wrong, and we do need somebody with a bit of grit in the middle who's going to put himself about into tackles and stuff like that. So I hope Longstaff would do that if he gets the opportunity.
What does your midfield look like if you'd have your starting pick? As in, what's the shape?
I would go 4-2-3-1.
Ooh.
So with Willock just in front,
lovely.
Yeah, but Willock just in front of Joe and Bruno, and then Joe kind of running around, let's just say. But that's what I want to see. We've got a $10 super chat from Seattle Geordie, who says, cannot wait to see Paul be flashed back to the Jurassic Goodison Park. The Bat predicting a 3-1. Brighton Seagull says 2-0. Saints Dogs are saying 2-1. Yeah, I know, not a real seagull. Yeah, that's fine. I get where you're going. But thank you very much, Seattle Geordie, for the $10 super chat, matey. Very, very kind of you. And as for the scoreline, I'm going 4-1. I think Everton might sneak a goal. But I think for us, it's I can only see the way we've been playing and the way Everton have been playing. When you look at it, I can only see a Newcastle United win. I can't see anything else. And it feels good to be able to say that. The way we've been playing, it may end up being a very scrappy game. It may well have been a very close game, but I think we will come out on top. So if we do win 4-1, I'm going goals from 2 for Maxi, 1 for Chris Wood, and 1 for Joe Willock. That is what I think. But you know what? I have been known to be wrong in the past.
For context, Paul, the last time they scored against a Premier League team was us, I believe. Yeah, they haven't scored a goal since us.
Yeah, so that's why I think we'll get one, simply because it's us. But we'll see. Davy Durkin's going 3-1 Toon win. Brilliant. Let's hope so. But remember, guys, tomorrow night, 7:15, will be live commentary with myself on the match. So it is on Amazon Prime. So if you have that, obviously put that on and then knock the commentary off and listen to me if you like. If you don't have Amazon Prime, then obviously listen and watch myself do the watch along and the commentary. It should be a great laugh. Love doing it. And, I've had great viewings for the watch along. So hopefully another one tomorrow. And hopefully getting closer to that 10K. Gary Hannon, thank you for your £6.10 super chat. Is Eddie Howe now like Sir Alex Ferguson back in the mid-90s, the way we're playing now? I'm not comparing to anybody yet. Let's just see where we end up under Eddie Howe, and then we can start sort of saying really positive things about him looking back. But at the minute, the guys are just a breath of fresh air into Newcastle United. So, guys, come and watch me tomorrow night for the commentary. Really looking forward to that. If you have enjoyed tonight's show, as usual, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Help us get to that 10K. Hit the join button to become a member of the channel. And thank you to the super chatters tonight. You've been very, very generous. Alex, thanks for your company again tonight. And thank you to the mods backstage helping out. I believe it was Susan and Cesare tonight. So thanks, guys, for your hard work, keeping the chat nice and fresh. And, of course, a final word to the channel sponsors, Geordie Riffs, premium guitar lessons for beginners and children, guitar repairs and servicing, in which they're offering 10% off your first one of each, and a free first guitar lesson if you mention the Toon Review. And, of course, they do have a recording studio available as well. Catch them at geordieriffs.co.uk, Instagram at Geordie Riffs, and Facebook at Geordie Riffs Official. You can also catch the Toon Review on Facebook. Just look for the Toon Review group. Click to join. Make sure that you agree to the rules of the group, and myself or one of the admins will let you join the group straight away. And you can catch us on Instagram as well. Just look up the Toon Review. I've had a massive following on there, well over 1,000 followers on there as well. But that's the end of the show. Pogba got robbed tonight. Did he?
Yeah, I've just seen. I just thought I'd mention that's very sad.
Oh,
I think he had his children at home and everything. So
never. No matter what you think of Pogba, that's
Pogba.
Shocking. That but
well, his contract's coming to an end, so I hope people haven't done that on purpose to try and upset.
Well, listen, Man United fans didn't show themselves with any glory last night when they chucked stuff at what's his face?
That's true.
The Atletico manager wasn't nice at all. Gary says hi, Paul. This chat YouTube blog is like a daisy, nice and fresh. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Right. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. As I say, join me tomorrow night. We start at 7:15. I won't probably have my usual watch-along studio and score up on the screen because, as people know, my MacBook Pro is away, being operated on to try and fix it. I've literally lost everything. So I've had to sort of try and pull things back off old pieces of software and hard disk drives. Disk drives that I've had lying around. But hopefully that will be repaired and I'll get that back next week. But at the minute, it will probably just be me and a screen behind me, but the commentary will be as usual. But thank you very much, everybody, for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. How are the lads? And I'll see you tomorrow night at 7:15 for the live commentary of the game. Good night, everybody, and take care.